So what's going on with here, Jay?
Well, whole situation's gonna come down.
Gonna go back up. You see the
So unfortunate for them.
is off the start.
Silverstone, and not only is this the home for real life Formula One racing, but it's the home for F1WL, of course, as I believe this is the place where the very first race went down, much like real life. So, as the qualifying session has started, we've got a couple of cars already out there on the circuit already. We see the Mercedes there, K, coming out of the pit lane there and down towards. We also got Zotic out on a lap, and the Alpine of Mike's pad also out on a lap. Just trying to look on the time screen to see if I can find them, but okay. Well, as we see there's KD warming up tyres on the outlap onto the Wellington straight now down into Brooklands corner. And so far throughout the season, we've seen ST Plays have some pretty decent races, having some good results, not having some not so good results, but Silverstone can bring up anything here, so we wonder what we're going to see here and who is going to come out on top. Of course, this is a sprint weekend, but it still has the same 18-minute qualifying session. We have a 9-lap race, and then we will have a 27-lap main race. As there is Zotic there, coming down towards, I believe yes, that is Zotic, as he makes his way through the Vale chicane, and he will be the first car out there to start their lap, I believe. As he comes out onto the start-finish straight, he'll be into Abbey now. And Zotic not having some good showings, but having good showings, but turning it into decent results and not so decent results as with SD plays, but it's early on in the season when we're not sure quite what the pecking order is in terms of the championship yet. But as Zotic makes his way down towards Brooklands Corner, he'll be eager to set a decent lap here to try and get up the order, and we'll wait to see what kind of lap time he puts in as he heads up towards the old pit straight and up towards Brooklands Corner. And has there been a collision already in qualifying? I fear there has, between Zotic and the Williams, because he now no longer has a front wing end plate there on the right hand side as he heads into Max and Beckett's, and I think that is going to be the first lap gone for Zotic, as he may or may not have made contact. We had a little bit of stream lag, so we were unable to see it, but that is not going to stop Zotic. He'll come back into the pits and he's got plenty of time to go back out again. He's got 14 minutes to complete another lap to get into a good position, I guess. And the steward's already giving out a warning to an unnamed driver. So already, and we've seen track problems. We've seen drivers going wide and making up time wherever. So throughout the three leagues. So it's been interesting, to say the least. The two leagues races that have been so far, as Corkum sits in a 129.3, and that is immediately bested by Mike's pad, or boss, I should say, who goes faster, and ST plays up there as well. Cade, that was a show on your screen, but there's Boss on board. Boss currently the fastest driver on the circuit. However, it's only been 3 laps since we watch Mano making his way through Magnus and Beckett's now. The Aston Martin driver will be desperate to put in another success like he did in Canada, getting a podium, and now as he comes up towards the Stowe corner, he'll be eager to get onto the brakes as Jack goes up to P2. And Jack moving up the position there, up to P2, the Red Bull driver. And we've got a yellow in Sector 1. So if we look over the circuit, you see the green flags waving there. And I hope everything is cleared up so that Jack can get a somewhat clean lap in. But I think he will be on a bit of a cool-down lap, as he cools down from a fast first lap here around Silverstone. As there's Harwood on his way up, there's Kozlowski, I think that says. I'll just say Iron Law Gamer from now on, as Hutton goes up to P1 with a 128.270, and Fowler goes in behind with a 128.2, so it's already getting close at the top, but not a lot separating first and second place. Only a couple of tenths there, you see on the timing screen, as Boss heads back into the pit lane and Cade heads back into the pit lane. However, drivers who are out on laps at the moment and drivers who are in the pit lane. So Boss has gone into the pits as Antilsov, or Procan as it's better known, goes up to P7, goes ahead of Corkum and Harwood. And can Antisloy, however, I'll just say Procan. I'm not the best with names. He goes up to P7 in the Alpine, and having a bit of a quiet race in Canada, I'd say. And he makes way for traffic on the Wellington Straight. And there you see the AlphaTauri that was going very, very quickly indeed. I think that may have been as Mano goes on to provisional pole with a 128.244. Mano showing some pace here. However, the top lot are still yet to come out and set their flying laps. And when I mean the top lot, I'm really referring to the AlphaTauri trio, the AlphaTauri 2, who have looked unstoppable. Firefly taking 2 victories this year in Belgium and Canada, and Martin pretty much taking the pole position in both of those races, but not being able to turn it into anything, as we're on board with Firefly now as he heads down the back straight. He'll be ready to start another lap as he'll be ready to start his first lap, I should say, as he makes his way through Stowe Corner. There's Martin, and back to Davis as he makes his way into the Vale Chicane. This is going to be Davis's lap as he comes out of the Vale Chicane, and it'll be foot to the floor all the way down until he gets to the braking zone of Village, and the lap has started for him as now he'll head through the challenging Abbey Corner. It'll be difficult to get the car turned in there, and now through Farm a calmer corner than Avi, and now into the braking zone of Village. And they'll be getting that just right, and now back onto the inside for the loop, and now foot flat to the floor for entry, and down the Wellington straight. DRS is active, as we'll wait to see what kind of sector 1 time he puts in. And into Brooklands corner, it's a green sector 1, so it's not the fastest we've seen, but it's not the slowest we've seen, as he heads through Luffield corner, a long corner. He'll be waiting to put the power on down, and now he can get the power back down as up towards Cops corner. He's going to have to be brave here through Cops corner if he wants to keep this lap in good contention. As he makes his way through there, absolutely committed through Cops corner, and now up towards Maggots and Beckett's through the first half in 8th gear, down to 7th gear. Now we'll be breaking down back to 6th gear and down to 5th gear for Beckett's now through Chapel. Now down the long hanger straight now, as he makes his way up towards Stowe now. And he'll be waiting to get on the brakes, and there he goes on the brakes and through. Zotic puts in a 127, the first driver to break through to the 127s. However, Firefly behind has put in a fastest 2nd sector, so I wonder what lap time is Firefly going to produce here, or Davis. What's he going to do as he comes across the line? He goes on to provisional pole, a 127.5 already. That is looking like the fastest lap we... Obviously. That is... yeah, I'm lost for words. I've run out of words to say. As we see, yellow flags being waved in sector 3, and that might be cars letting each other through. However, I fear that may be traffic. As there's Zotic back on his lap again. So you saw him having contact with the Williams, and that essentially ruined his first lap. But Zotic putting in an almighty 2nd lap, essentially his first proper lap of the day. And there is Sven, Luigi Sven, the Mercedes driver, currently last in the order at the moment. However, hopefully he can come up the order and put in a very good result, as we see him. And there's Davis, Martin goes P3, on 127.7. sorry, I was looking at the other screen for a second there, so I missed out on that. But Martin goes up to P3, so he's not put it on pole immediately out of the gate, as we've seen him done in Belgium and Canada, but he has done enough to get himself up in the top 5, as we see yellow in sector 1 being waved. As there's Hunt, the Haas driver, as we see is that what Veloro going up to P12, as another yellow flag in sector 1. We've got drivers continuously stopping, slowing. And there's a yellow in sector 3, and that's the part where Hunt has just come through, as Hunt now makes his way over the Vale chicane and out wide, and on his lap now. What's this lap going to take him to? It isn't going to really take him anywhere. It's going to put him still P10. So we watch over the rest of the drivers making it around there, as Hunt now 128.6 there for Hunt, and he's a bit off the pace, but that's not saying he's a bad driver by any standards. All these drivers are good in some capacity because they have got up here to tier 2. As Hunt makes his way down towards Brooklands corner, you saw the steering wheel going absolutely berserk there as he makes his way through Luffield now, and a fast first sector, but not the fastest we've seen. That is still held by Firefly, I think it is, who is on pole, and that's Davis. Little pop on your screen there as Hunt makes his way up towards Cops corner. Hunt through fast and committed there. You see the back end twitching there a little bit as he makes his way up to Maggots and Beckett's turn 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14 complex. Just absolutely sending it through without any doubt in his mind that the car could jump out at any moment. But he makes his way down the hanger straight up towards Stowe corner. We'll be braking about now and through Stowe corner in about 4th gear and out over the curb down towards Vale. He'll be fast on the inside, and I think he's had a little bit of a lock up there. He's gone a little bit deep. That's a little bit deeper than he would have wanted, but what's it going to be for Hunt? He's going to go up to P6. Hunt up to P6 in the Haas, and is immediately bested by Smith, who goes up to P6. So Smith and the Red Bull was, you saw him through Maggots and Beckett's. He was the car behind Hunt. He was getting a nice slipstream off the Haas, and he puts him up to P6. So a good lap along with a good slipstream puts a driver in a great position. wheel box at the moment. Explain something obvious as well. Zotic, I see Zotic has gone off at turn 1. As we go back to Sven, who's coming down the old pit straight, and now up towards Cops Corner. He's not had the best sector 1, but I think this is a cool down lap, I'd assume, or a warm-up lap, I'd say. However, we have come to that point. 5 minutes to go in the qualifying session. We've come to that point where most drivers have done their first laps and they'll be returning to the pit lane. And soon we'll see all the drivers coming back out to do their final laps. But out on the track at the moment is Zotic and Smith and Hunt out there at the moment, as well as Fowler out there as well. And Sven also out there. He's the driver you're watching. And yes, it was a cool-down lap because he's gone straight into the pit lane. And we see yellow in Sector 3. What is going on in Sector 3? There are constant yellow flags in that sector, so I think someone may be having a spin moment. Down there as we see Zotic heading through Luffield Corner now. Zotic out onto the power now, up towards the old pit straight and up towards Cops Corner. Be eager to set a better lap and to beat Davis to pole position. I'm not quite sure who was on pole position in Brazil, but if Zotic can get up to pole, that'll be a first for him, I believe. Someone may want to fact check me on that one, and you can put it in the Twitch chat if Zotic has been on pole. I don't believe he has been on pole before. Maybe doubting his skill, but as he makes his way up towards Stowe Corner, fast and flowing Stowe Corner now, and out onto the power, down and into the pit lane he goes. So he had us all on there. He thought that lap wasn't good enough, and now all the drivers are in the pit lane aside from High Caliber and Iron Law Gamer, who are the only two drivers out on the racetrack, as Iron Law's just started his lap, and High Caliber just trotting around the Silverstone circuit, just getting a little feel for it, and then he'll be starting his lap, and hopefully he'll be putting in a good enough lap to go ahead of the other drivers ahead of him, as Iron Law hasn't actually set a lap time here, so I find that a bit astonishing that Iron Law's had all that time that he's not set a lap time. I wonder why that is, but he's only got 3 minutes left, so he'll be able to set lap time easily. However, I fear he may be the one who's spinning at turn I don't know, sector 3, I meant. And there's Valore, High Caliber, as he's better known, through the final chicane. And across the line he comes to start his lap. And comes up towards Abbey Corner. He's fast, flat out, but there are cars coming out of the pit lane, or there were cars coming out of the pit lane that I saw, and they are down the Wellington straight, so Valore might have to contend with those as Valore makes his way through the loop, and he'll be flat out now through entry and down towards the Wellington straight. Let's hope those cars that were on the Wellington straight have moved on, and indeed they have. I've just checked my other monitor, and they are up the old pit straight. It is ST Plays, so it's Face, Corkeem and Luigi Sven, or in other words Sven, Harwood, Corkeem and Cade. As we see Valore make his way up towards Cops Corner. 2 minutes to go, so we're entering the final 2 minutes, and here a lot of the cars are out on an outlap now, as we see yellow in sector 2 as Valore makes his way, and that might be why. A stopped car on the inside there. He'll be back going in a second, but Valore making his way through Maggots and Beckett's, and a lot of confidence that they've got to put in the cars to make their way through. So they make their way up towards Stowe Corner. He'll be onto the brakes. It's been a good 2 first sectors for him, but what can he do as he makes his way out, down towards the final couple of corners on the racetrack? Can he improve up to a better position than P16? Let's have a look as Valore comes around the final corner. Valore crosses the line, and it's going to take him up to P11, and he'll be very happy with that lap. That's only 1 position away from the points, so he'll be very happy with that one, as we see KD making his way out into Aintree and down the Wellington straight. There he goes. 1 minute to go in the qualifying session, and all the drivers are out on their laps, but some of them, I fear, may not make the checkered flag. So as we see Cade come around the Luffield, I got there eventually, and he makes his way up the old pit straight, up towards Cops Corner, on board with him. And if we see him, but this will be interesting to see, is he going to He dabs the brakes there slightly, down a gear, and is very committed there. The drivers are always committing through this sector of the racetrack and into another fantastic corner of the racetrack. And he's made a mistake. KD's made a bit of a mistake. He's gone a little bit deep into Beckett, I believe that was. And now out onto the pit straight. Still going to continue on with the lap. He's still going to continue on because, well, if he makes the line here, which I don't think he will, he can have another go. But everyone's out, and KD spins it. And he spun it around, so he's definitely not going to make the line now as he spins it round, and now he'll have to get it back going. But commiserations for KD. That was looking like a very good lap. As Valoro going fast. Harwood crosses the line. What can he do? He's finished his qualifying session, goes up to P6. P6 for Harwood. As Harwood, that is a fantastic lap from the Alpha driver. And that might just show how much the track has improved here. As we see, Procan finishes the session down in P16. And who's that? Korkian finishing the session P14. Luigi Sven goes up to P12. So the laps are coming in thick and fast here at Silverstone. Zotic making his way round Stowe Corner. Is the final couple of corners on the circuit, and that will Zotic have to battle here as he makes his way out. Foot flat to the floor now. He won't want to lift off throughout this final corner and across the line. And he goes on to provisional pole by only a couple of tenths. He goes on to provisional pole. So it's Zotic on provisional pole, unless Firefly can beat him or Martin can beat him. As Martin going around the last couple of corners as Firefly Davis is just ahead of him. As here comes Davis across the line, and he does go faster. He got a Red Bull spun on the main straight. Davis goes fastest, and Martin, what can he do? Can he cross the line? Well, we'll have to see. Martin goes in second fastest. Martin goes second fastest, and the session was cut to an abrupt end there, I should say. But it's an AlphaTauri 1-2. An AlphaTauri front row from Zotic, from McDum. Then comes PSC, I should say. Jack, Esprilo, Sarah's Face, Smithy, and Mano in the top 10. And outside the top 10 is Mike Pad, Luigi Sven, High Caliber, Korkium, SD Plays, Procan, and Iron Law Gamer not setting a lap time. So he must have had some a spin or a track violation of some kind, because he hasn't set a lap. And I find that very odd, because Iron Law Gamer is a quick driver on a good day. And, today might have been a good day, but we won't find out because he didn't set a lap. But that is your qualifying order. AlphaTauri front row for the sprint race here at Silverstone. And then we'll have the sprint race, and then we will have the main race coming up in just a couple of moments. It'll be the 9-lap sprint race. See you in a couple of seconds as we wait for the session to end. So an interesting qualifying session there, I should say, and a very intriguing qualifying session with a lot of cars up the order as PSC, one of the newcomers to Tier 2, has gone 5th fastest in his debut, so it'll be very impressive if he can pull off a top 5 finish in the debut. And we wait for the session to end. I wonder what is taking so long here. We wait here. We look over the circuit. That is the loop, I believe. And the driver's continuing to go around. And PSC, I should say, sorry, has left the session. So I wonder if that was the issue that was holding us up there. It'll be a big shame if TCS has to leave us, and because he was looking fast in qualifying, and if he can turn that into good race form, then I think he could be on for a good result. But it depends if he can join back or not. And there is the pit lane there, and you can see the teams all lined up and ready and raring. However, they're readying up for a mini version of the main event, I think we can say. As we wait, the main event will be underway in only just a few seconds. Well, not the main event, the sprint race will be underway in about 10 seconds' time. We'll get the formation lap, they'll formate the grid, and then we'll be underway for the sprint race. So here we go then. The lobby has been updated as we get ready to go for the sprint race here. The formation lap, we'll get the green light, and then we'll be off for the formation lap. And there it is. There's the grid. And there are the green lights, and they're off. So it's an AlphaTauri front row, as you can see, and Zotic immediately darting to the inside. Is he trying to say something there to Martin? Like, I'm going to go up the inside into turn one, as Martin goes completely off the circuit. What's happening there? He has gone completely off, and maybe just warming up the tyres. He's lost it a little bit, and that's not going to do any good. He's disqualified from the session. That is a disaster for him, as we've only got a couple of cars. Most of the field are starting on the soft, but Jack starting on the soft tyre, so he is going to be one to watch at the start. As we see there, the Drivers' Championship, well, the Drivers' Championship graphic decides it will come back at a later moment. As we see there, Zotic getting very racy with the AlphaTauris on the formation lap here. Some interesting tactics going on there. So I wonder if Zotic is going to overtake the two AlphaTauris and put his name up there in Tier 2. It'll be interesting to see, because Firefly, or Davis, is the only repeat winner of the championship, not the championship, of a race this season in Tier 2, as we see the drivers making their way out through the session, as Fozzie has left the session. I didn't know he was here. As we watch cars come down the back straight there, the hangar straight, so named because of the hangars that were here when it was a World War II airbase, and PSC has managed to rejoin, and that is brilliant news for Haas. Haas's only hope here, as neither other driver has come in here. So PSC may be doing a madness here for Haas, as we see there's Davis, or Firefly, making his way around the final corner to form the grid. He'll line up on pole. He'll see his teammate Martin there. Line up right next to him. Two AlphaTauris for Italy are on the front row, as Zotic comes in behind, and then the rest of the grid form their way behind. As there's High Caliber disqualified, so is Face disqualified. A couple of drivers getting disqualified, but not their matters, because they're already here onto the grid. And there, the final cars forming up on the grid, and in a few moments we'll be underway for the sprint race. Here we go then, as the 5 lights come on here for the sprint race at Silverstone. And we're underway, and it's a decent start off the line it's a terrible start for Martin, actually. Look at Martin dropping down the order. He's had an awful start, as Zotic is side by side with PSC. PSC up to P2 at the start, and there's an incident there in the back. There's 2 spinners off, and it's Martin. Martin's round in the first moments of the race, and there side by side is Hunt wheel to wheel with Zotic now as they make their way, and Zotic spun. Zotic spun down the order. He's going to drop down the order. It's a dramatic start to the sprint race here, as Davis leads ahead of Jack now, ahead of Hutton, ahead of Fowler, ahead of Mano, who's come up to P5. Mad start here as Harwood is fighting Hunt for P6 there, as Jack just leading this train of cars here. Davis has checked out at the front. He has got almost a second gap, I'd say, ahead of Jack there, as we see wheel to wheel, not wheel to wheel, line astern there, down towards, and there's that 2 cars going wheel to wheel in the background towards Copse Corner, I believe it was. I saw a car going out wide there, but it's a dramatic start in the sprint race. This 9-lap sprint race is wheel to wheel through Magnus and Beckett is Hunt with Harwood as they make their way side by side through Magnus and Beckett. This is a phenomenal start here, but Martin and Davis Martin and Zotic are the big stories at the start here, because and there goes Harwood spins round at Stowe corner. Harwood spun and he's out of the race. Harwood is out of the race, and we've got a virtual safety car deployed here. VSC has been deployed at the end of a dramatic first lap here at Silverstone. And just going back to here, at the end of Farm Curve, we had Corcume and Martin making contact, and they went off in side by side. So I think that was Martin trying to just make up from the bad start. And he's just made contact with Corcume, and Zotic spinning all his own here on the exit of the loop, or at entry, rather. So a dramatic start. This sees Martin and Zotic drop down the order, and Service Face is out of the race, and we're back to green flag racing once more, as Firefly leads through Luffield now, and they're down the order. Corcume And there's Mano in the Aston Martin. He's up in the P5 at the moment. He's just in front there as Jack closes in. And there, Smith is off. Smith is off and into the barriers. Smith is off. And it's a chaotic one here at Silverstone today. If you checked in thinking this was going to be a simple sprint race, you were proved wrong, because we've had high drama here on the start of the sprint race, and it's only the second lap. Well, this is going to play out crazily if this is going to continue throughout the rest of the 9 laps, and I wonder what's that going to entail for the main race. But of course, it is the sprint race, and they know they can take those risks. And there is, that's not Procan there. That is Hunt, I believe. Yeah, that is Hunt, because he's the only Haas in the field. And hang on, that audible confusion here at Silverstone as it says Procan is in the Alpine, although he is in the Haas. No, he's definitely in the Haas. Sorry about that little pause of confusion there, but at the front, Davis and Jack have closed up to one another. And now, can Jack challenge Davis for the sprint race win? Or in other words, pole position. So the AlphaTauri 1-2 immediately out of the bag, but it could be a Red Bull Academy 1-2 as we see Jack close up to the back of Davis now as they make their way up there and there. Yep, and Procan's car has now switched back to the Alpine. We had a little bit of a error there where it read as the Haas car, but as we see, it's all settling down here in the sprint race on lap 3. There's Jack trailing, Davis there through Magnussen Beckett, and they're separated by not a lot there, and they're only separated by 4 tenths. So Jack will have the DRS, and he's going to close in. Is he going to try for the move? He's close enough to try for the move, and here he goes up the inside into the braking zone at Stowe Corner. Jack takes the lead of the sprint race here. Now, can Davis fight back? He's got a yellow flag further back, and that's Martin who's dropped down the order, and Zotic having a little ding-dong there with Gorkium. So I fear Martin has dropped down the order once more. Martin having a terrible sprint race here in Silverstone, but as they cross the line, Davis makes his way through into P2. It was in P2 already. I'm losing it here as Jack is in the lead. He sets the fastest lap at 1:30.1, and he makes his way through. He's very close to the back there. Davis very close to the back of Jack as he makes his way through. There's Fowler, and leading through the loop, and he's just behind Mano, and he's ahead of Mano. He's just behind Hutton, and here he goes on the outside of Hutton. Can he brave it around the outside of Brooklands Corner? He's going to have to be brave there. Hutton's got the outside, but what comes the outside becomes the inside for Fowler as he makes his way through on the inside. Hutton going a little bit wide, and now they're going to be side by side up the old pit straight. Are they going to be brave enough to go through Copse Corner side by side? Yes, they are. And no, they're not. They were side by side at the entry, but they were not side by side on the exit, because Fowler backed out of that one. He knew he couldn't make that error, and if they did collide, he couldn't have costed. It would have cost him quite a lot, because that would mean we'd have to start from the very back come tomorrow's race, or today's race actually, as here goes Fowler again on the inside of Hutton up towards Stowe Corner. He's on the inside, and he's going to go through. He's going to succeed this time up to the podium. Got his Fowler, and Hutton is going to try and fight back in the same place that Jack passed. Fire for Jack. Davis is back through Jack through all the commotion. Davis has passed through it, and there's Valoro. Valoro's gone off at Copse Corner. I mean, Stowe. I'm getting Stowe and Copse confused today. Valoro's off at Stowe Corner. And it's chaotic here in the sprint race as we see many passes for the lead. And he spun again at Bale there. He spins again, and once again, Davis is back in the lead ahead of Jack. We're going to keep an eye on this battle at the front here, because Jack trailing just behind Davis, and there Hutton sitting in 4th place there. Maybe he can come back at Fowler if he dare. Breaks the toe there a little bit there as he has the DRS advantage. Heading down the Wellington straight. And there's Martin at the very back of the pack. 5 laps to go. Oh, no, 3 laps to go, sorry. And there's Valoro, who has had a disastrous sprint race as we look back towards the front of the pack. There's Hutton behind Fowler, and there's Cade behind the 2 Alpines there of Boss and Procan. And they make their way through Copse Corner. And yellow in sector 1 as Zotic is out of the race. Zotic is out of the race. And their virtual safety car comes out once more for the Silverstone sprint. And while we have this little pause, let's just have a little breather of this crazy sprint race here. And I can only imagine what is going to happen from the main race on in a few minutes, actually. I do wonder what will happen then as we see the Formula One Lenovo British Grand Prix. Yeah, Silverstone, Great Britain, this legendary racetrack which has seen many wins throughout F1WL's prestigious history, and in real life it's seen many prestigious wins. As we wait for the green flags to be waved back into the air, and they come up to the point where Zotic presumably lost it. It was in sector 1 somewhere around the racetrack. As we head into lap 6 out of 9, they make their way down. And Jack is very, very close to the back of Davis. He is going to try and play it crafty on the safety car, on the virtual safety car restart. But when they get the message safety car ending, he's going to close right up to the back and hopefully catch Davis napping. That's his plan, I'd assume. And High Caliber gets a drive-through penalty, speeding under the VSC, and they're back into racing again. Green flag is back in the air, as Jack hasn't done what he would have wanted to do. That was catch Davis on the restart, but he's there practically, and there, wheel to wheel, KD splitting the two Alpines, and their two Alpines are side by side. So KD gets the two Alpines, and their two Alpines are now side by side. Boss and Procan wheel to wheel through Copse Corner. Boss goes a little bit wider, now it's going to entice Ironlaw Gamer to come through onto the inside of Procan. He had a little look there on the inside of Boss, but backed out of it at the last moment because he wasn't getting involved in that little mess there, but he could be in line for a move up towards Stowe Corners. He's right on the back now. Or are the two Alpines going to do battle? Yes, they are. Here they go, side by side up towards Stowe Corner. Boss is back ahead of Procan, and Procan always pushing his teammate round. As here they go, wheel to wheel, down towards Vale now. Who is going to be laced on the brakes in towards Vale? Oh, there's almost contact, and there was contact behind, because the Aston Martin of Ironlow was trying to proceed through and just got caught up in a bit of an accident there. But there's thankfully no damage done to either car. And it's now 3 laps to go here, so it was 5 laps to go. I was going crazy. This race is doing wonders for everyone's brain. Is now Jack back up at the front, still following Davis, and Martin sets the fastest lap, so he's still proving that he's got the pace to do so. 1:30.0, so it's still proving he has pace to be fast here. However, he's only up in P14 at the moment. He hasn't made that much of a comeback as we watch the leading pair make their way up, and there, wheel to wheel once again. Boss on the outside now. Can Ironlow sweep through on the inside? Yes, he can. He's gone through, but now has Boss got the advantage on the slipstream up towards Copse Corner? Can he try for the move? No, he's not. And if anything, Ironlow closes up to the back, and it's very, very close between these three here. As up towards Magnus and Beckett, he's not going to try for it. Surely not. No, he didn't. Thought for one moment now he was going to try on the inside there, but as they make their way through Magnus and Beckett, they'll be flipped to the floor now, and all of them will have DRS apart from Procan. Have a Boss and Close, and Ironlaw will gain. He's going to go on the outside. That's a brave move, but he's going to come back on the inside. Procan goes back through on the inside, and Ironlaw has to concede in the end. And down towards the Vale chicane. Let's go back towards the leading pair, and there, oh no, that's Ironlaw round. Ironlaw goes round battling with the two Alpines, and he's now going to drop another victim of the Silverstone sprint race. Has dropped down the order, and it's side by side for P3. Hutton tries Fowler, and he's going to fail in trying him, but he's going to have the advantage. Coming down the Wellington straight now, he's going to try on the inside down towards Brooklyn's corner. He's going to have to be brave on the brakes if he wants to get it done. But once again, just like it was last lap time, Hutton does get ahead, and he's full on ahead now. Just like it was last time. Fowler got ahead. This time it's Hutton who's ahead, heading through, and Hutton goes up to P3. And the battle is on here, as was that side by side between the Alpine of Procan and Smith. And Procan has dropped down the order as well, so I wonder if Procan was involved in some kind of contact, because he was up with his teammate Boss, and now he's dropped behind Luigi. But Luigi could have scythed past and been an under the radar character. So you have a car wide there. Hutton was going side by side, and now he's lost out to Mano. Mano up to P4, and it could be P3 for Mano, because here he goes on the outside of Fowler. Is he going to go all the way around the outside? He's going to have brave brakes to do so, and what becomes the outside becomes the inside for Vale. And is Fowler going to try on the inside? No, he's not. Mano up to P3 in the Silverstone sprint race, as it was in Canada. It's Mano up in P3 at the moment. So this is crazy as we head into the final lap of the sprint race. It has been crazy here, and the chaos is not going to end there, because we've got a full lap. We've got the full race of 26 laps, sorry, coming your way. A few minutes as Corky makes his way into the pit lane. There he is, the other Williams driver makes his way into the pit lane as the other Williams of Hutton is up in P5 at the moment, as Iron makes a position, and Martin will make a position up as well. There's Hutton, and Hutton makes his way down towards the Brooklands corner, and Mano taking both of Fowler and Hutton on through Magnussen Beckett. I wonder if Hutton was side by side with Fowler, and it just enticed Mano to come through, because Hutton went wide, and then Mano on the exit got the acceleration, got the slipstream, got the DRS, and got there in the end. And Mano has caught up to Jack. Hold on a second. Hold your horses there. This is not over yet. We could see a last lap pass here, as Mano has closed right up to the back of Jack. He's definitely going to be on for the pass now, as the DRS is active. And he's going to gain, he's gaining. And now, which way is he going to pull? He's going to pull to the inside or the outside. He's going to go to the inside. And here goes Mano on the inside. And he's firmly passed. But Jack is going to catch up to him on the exit, as he makes his way down towards the Vale chicane. As they make their way through, it's Mano up to P2. But out in front, Davis wins the sprint race here and is on pole for the race. As there's a spinner in the last moment, it's Fowler. Fowler spins. However, the big story of the sprint race, Mano is on the front row and Jack is third. McDum fourth, Hutton fourth. Hutton comes up to P5 in the end of it. It was a bit of a silent one on the radar for Hunt. Fowler P6, Cade, and the two Mercedes of Cade and Sven, P7 and 8. Boss is P9, Smith is P10, and Procan P11, and Ironlaw P12, Martin P13. To the man who was on pole, he's down in P13, and spin just to cap off the day. And Corkum P14, and Veloro will come across the line. He's up there at Culp's corner. He's got plenty of time to finish the race. He's up there just heading through Magnussen Beckett. He's the last car to finish the race. And yeah, that is a very hectic sprint race. And I know it's not over yet, because Veloro is yet to cross the line, but it's pretty much over. Not to be harsh on anyone, but that was crazy there with Firefly or Davis taking the win, managing to hold off everyone at the end. But what happened to Jack? I wonder if Jack had a moment or something, because he was challenging Firefly, and then all of a sudden, Mano just gained on him all of a sudden. I think it was actually Jack dropping back, if anything. So I wonder, as the final car across the line, Veloro, P15, Davis, P1. And that is a very, very good trailer for the British Grand Prix, or the F1WL Round 4 Britain, as I should better say. As we look there are the results then. So it's finalised, and it's 8 points to Davis, who takes another win to his collection, although not quite as good as a full Grand Prix win. It's as good as he would want. It's the best he could ask for. He turned the front row, the second place, into pole. And what can Mano do off the front row? Jack P3, and that's two Scotsmen lining out the second row of Jack and Hutton or McDum there, P3 and P4. Hunt in the Haas, P5, and Fowler, P6 in the Ferrari, and position both Mercedes right behind P7 and P8, and those are the final points paying positions that are given out in the sprint race. And we go back to the real race now. It's time to put the big boy socks on, because it is time for a real race. Not saying that was a real race, that was a race full of drama and full of chaos. It was just crazy. And with Hutton, or no, sorry, not Hutton, with Fowler spinning at the last moment, that was crazy, certain to say. As we watch there's the pit lane for the mechanics. They will be making a pit stop this race, so in case you were wondering why you didn't see any pit stops, apart from Corkium, we will be starting in a few moments' time for round 4, Silverstone, here in Britain. As we look over the pit lane, you see there the Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, the rest of the garages, the Alpine garages, the AlphaTauri, the Aston Martin, the Alfa Romeo, the Haas, and the Williams garages, all down there, and all the mechanics sat there waiting, ready to see their driver try and do their best this race. And they'll be waiting. And there it is. There are cars all lined up, and they're underway for the formation lap. So already we see the cars weaving their tyres up as they head down towards the first corner, corner. And we see the starting tyres. There are the starting tyres, and we've got a couple of cars starting on the hard. That is Fowler and Boss risking it on the hard tyres. Jack, once again, one to watch at the start, and Procan going on the softs. The rest of the field are on the medium compound of tyre. As we see, just quickly, as we see, I've had a bit of a issue there. Yeah, so Firefly or Davis is on the medium. That was what I was trying to see there. Sorry. No. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that silence there. I was just sorting a little something out with the spectator menu on the screen that you're not seeing, but I'm seeing. As we see, there's a big gap from the front three, and why has Zotic just taken off like that? And there's a very big gap between Mano and Jack, and I wonder if that gap may be filled. And Zotic, what is Zotic doing? What is Emergo doing? Emergo Zotic, in case you were a bit confused and you're a first-time watcher. 1, hi. 2, if you're wondering why I was calling Amarego Zotic, that's because that's their Xbox name. I'm commentating off of that screen, but sometimes they use the other screen, which has the drivers' names as what they entered as. But they'll be mostly using their Xbox gamer tags. So a bit of admin there to work out, but we can get back to the serious stuff. As we see Zotic disqualified from the session. And, whoa, Davis spins it on the entry to the final corner. And let's back it out there. That's actually a very clever way to get a bit more tyres warming in. But it's only the formation lap, so not a lot matters here because there's no damage that can be done to the cars. The only damage are the tyres. And I wonder if that's why Martin had a bad start, because the tyres weren't up to condition. So, here we go then. It's the main event here at Silverstone. Firefly on pole, Davis on pole, Mano alongside. As we wait for the 5 red lights here at Silverstone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in Silverstone. And the British Grand Prix is underway, and it's a decent start for Mano, and it's a decent start for Jack behind. Mano leads into the first turn. Davis down to P3, and as they come through up towards Farm Curve, it's Mano in the lead ahead of Jack. He's challenging for P2 at the moment. As we see behind, Hutton goes up to P3 as Davis making it side by side, and there's a Mercedes off in the background as it's carnage behind them as Hutton trying to force his way past Davis, but Davis manages to get it ahead of the Williams driver as they make their way down the Wellington Straight for the first time in the race. It is Mano in the lead, ahead of Jack, ahead of Davis. Then comes Hutton and Procan, then Cade, then Fowler and Smithy, who's dropped down to P13 at the moment. As there, side by side, is, and there goes the Ferrari around. The Ferrari and Fowler, and there, 2 cars spinning around. That's KD, I think, and the Alpine of Procan. Chaos at the start here in Silverstone, and they're side by side. That's almost 3 wide in towards Copse Corner as they see Smith trying to make up positions here. Was briefly down in P13, but has made his way up to P7 in all the chaos, and now makes their way through Maggots and Beckett's absolutely chaotic start there with Mano in the lead, ahead of a few of the other drivers now, as we see down towards Stowe they go for the first time. And they'll be all breaking the slipstream as they want to go side by side with each other, but they'll be denied that as we see there Smithy making his way through. He's got Hunt ahead of him. It's going to be a real challenge now to see what happens in terms of the drivers who spun at the start of the race, as Mano showing the pace here early on in Silverstone. Had an amazing start and puts his car up there on first place, and now leads the race by almost 5/10 now, as we right on board with the Alfa Romeo, that is. And up the inside, or was it up the inside for the Alfa Romeo of, I think that's Valoro. Yeah, it is Valoro, as we see there Mano once again breaking the slipstream of Jack. And Jack just trying to maneuver his way through as Jack closes up to the back of Mano. Through Luffield they go, and they'll head up the old pit straight. He'll be brave if he wants to make the move at Cops, but I don't think he will. Jack closes up to the back of Mano, and Mano's lead is diminishing out in front. As the top three also in the same camera shot, as we see, that is the two Alpines. Oh no, an Alpine and a Williams. We'll almost wheel to wheel line astern through Cops Corner, as we see it's Procan and Corcume. And there's the tyre degradation so far on lap 2 of the race. And out in front, there's a move for third possibly on. No, there isn't, but the top three close up an awful lot up at the front now, as we see Davis trying to get past Jack, and they're wheel to wheel. That's behind, and KD or Sven, that is trying to get past Boss, I think, as Boss going up the inside on Harwood. Harwood is side by side, and yeah, Boss has lost out 2 positions there. As the fastest lap goes to Martin, who's up to P5. Martin's up P5. Hang on, I missed that one. Martin is up in P5 in all the chaos of the first lap. Martin is up in the 5th position slot. He is not far behind the leaders, so he has made the most of that start from up where was he, P14 up to P5. That was an incredible launch there. It's out in front. Jack takes the lead around the outside, and he went around the outside at Brooklands Corner, or on the braking zone. He got ahead of Mano, so Mano is down to 2nd place. He'll be wanting to fight Jack a little bit more, but I don't know if he has the tyre life. But Jack's on the soft, remember, so he's going to have the tyre advantage early on in the race. As we see up the old pit straight goes Valora, I think. No, that's Harwood ahead of Sven. Then behind come the 2 Alpines. So your pecking order at the end of lap 3 is Jack ahead of Mano, ahead of Davis, ahead of Hutton. Then comes Martin, Hunt, Smithy, Harwood, Sven, Procan, Boss, Corcume, Fowler, and here's a move for P3, and that's Davis on the inside of Mano. Davis goes through on Mano. Mano down to P3. And he's going to try back on the inside of Mano. He's going to have to be low on the brakes. He's so low on the brakes, and he's got ahead for P2. And that's a brilliant fight there. But Mano goes back ahead up to P2. So Davis down, and once again Martin setting the fastest lap of the race. But as we're saying, Procan rounds out the top 10. Boss P11, Corkin P12, Fowler, Ironlow, Villoro, Cade, and Zotic is the final car in the race. He is at the end of the train. He had a spin on the first lap, I think, coming out of Farm Curve. So it's not been a good start for Zotic. As I see, breaking the slipstream, Mano once more. Breaking the slipstream as Martin goes up to P4. He's side by side with Hutton, and he's through on Hutton. And he's got on ahead of Hutton. Martin up to P4. As we see Mano back there. And that's side by side once again. And that was the 2 Alpine. No, it wasn't. It was the Alpine and Fowler. Fowler trying on the outside of Luffield. That's a committed move there. But as we see the Boss getting all loosey-goosey out on the exit, and now down the old pit straight, can Fowler go for the move on the inside of Cops? No, he's not, as Martin having connection issues, possibly. But I assume he'll be back in the race, and from the meantime, he's going to maybe drop down the order slightly. He's now a ghosted car, so the drivers won't have to worry about moving through on him, and he may be passed for P4, and he is going to get past for P4 by Hutton. Because on the brakes, through goes Hutton, and Martin rejoins at the perfect time to go side by side with the driver. He'll be back straight into the racing action, which is always brilliant to see as he's ghosted now. It'll take him a second, and there he is, he's back in it again. And as we see, and once again, over the line they go, Hutton and Martin, once again on lap 5 of the race. And that's, oh, I thought that was Mano for a second, but it's only Ironlaw Gamer. It's Ironlaw Gamer who spins around at the final corner, and I thought for a second that was Mano, and near heart attacks in the commentary box today. as we go back to a yellow flag in sector 1, and Zotic has crashed. Oh, no, he's not. He's not crashed. No, he's left the session. He spun, and he went off into the wall, and I thought he crashed because I don't have cameras on him. But he was off at turn 2. And now as we go up at the front, it's Davis still trying to trail and get past Mano here, as he's very close to the back of Mano as they make their way through and up towards Maggott and Beckett's. They'll be raring to go wheel to wheel through these legendary corners, but it takes Braves to go side by side through there. And Braves is word left for the past, but here we go then, down the old pit straight, or the old hangar straight now, and Davis is already through up to P2, so Martin goes up to P4, Mano down to P3 then, so it's not a good lap for Mano as it goes down to P3. He went from second place down to P3 then. For one moment I thought Mano could possibly have stayed in second there, but at the moment he's still very much in the contention for second, because there's a long race with 20 laps to go now as we're on lap 6 of the race. And they're off. That's Korkim. Korkim has a moment at the final corner, and he's off in spectacular fashion. And he's now a lawnmower essentially on the inside as we go back up to the front of the field. And what is happening at the front? It is Mano, or Jack, sorry, is what's happening at the front, because and Hunt makes his way up to P5. Hunt's past Hutton now for P5, so Hunt is now past him. He's up the order, and he's going to try and go wheel to wheel down the old pit straight now, but it's not going to happen. He's got a bit of a gap now to the car behind. As Procan leaves the session, that will be until the driver in P10 has left the session, and there's the Alpine ghosted, and his teammates behind him, so it won't be long. If he doesn't rejoin soon, it won't be long until we see Boss up to P10 and into the points. So far in this race, we've had Cage, and at the front, it's Davis taking the lead of the race from Jack. I just saw that on my other screen there. Davis takes the lead from Jack on the outside at Stowe Corner, and that was fantastic stuff for the lead of the race. That was brilliant stuff as Jack now down to P2, Firefly up the order now to P1, and I thought Davis may take the lead away from Jack, because he was very close to him on the exits. We see yellow in sector 3, and it's Villoro. It's one of the Alfa Romeos who has spun out of Stowe and has got going, thankfully, and we will not have a safety car yet. You may not see a safety car, as into the pits already comes Procan, and he goes down the position board, and it's the first stop of the race, 2.6 seconds. We found some soft tyres there, and he was one of the drivers who started on the softs, if I'm not mistaken. But out in front, it is still Davis in the lead ahead of Jack. Mano's still in P3, still hanging on to P3, but Martin is closing up closely. Martin is closing in on Jack, and it is getting close now. Is Martin going to go for the move here into Brookers? And there, spin! And that is Hunt. Hunt spins around on the exit of Cops. That's a very awkward spin to have, because he spun to the outside of the track, but back out in front. Martin now trying to get the move on Mano Dunn. Can Mano get out of the podium, or can Martin go up to the podium? There's a bit of weaving, and it's very, very close to contact there between Martin and Mano. But Martin on the outside takes the position from Mano, and is now on the inside for the Vale chicane, and he's definitely ahead of Mano now, because he has got a clear lead. But Mano isn't done with him yet. He's going to come back into the final corner. Wow, fantastic stuff from Mano. Goes into third place. It's only third place, but that was a phenomenal move there. Yeah, may as well have been a move for the lead of the race now, as we make their way up towards Village now. That was a sensational battle in the final sector between these two drivers, the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo. Tauri. I'm getting a bit caught up in the racing now, as we see Martin had a little bit of a swapper on there on the exit, and he makes his way down towards Brooklands Corner. You see what the occurrings are at the front of the field. It is the two Alpha Tauris who are the big movers of the race, as Firefly is up at P1. He's being chased down by Jack, and once again Martin failing to get past Mano. Mano, the unmovable force here around Silverstone because he got up to second place in the sprint, held the lead at the start, and now is risking going down to P4. However, I think Mano can be very, very happy with the P3 in Canada. And here goes Martin on the outside. Oh, for a moment, I thought he was going to go through, but Martin essentially pushing him down the hangar straight now as he's on the inside towards Stoke Corner, and he's got that move done before he's even gone onto the brakes. And Mano doesn't have a response for that because he makes his way through as there's a high caliber 3-second penalty for Villoro. Multiple warnings that was for. And I wonder now what we're going to see here at Silverstone as Jack has gone into the pits. Jack has gone from second place into the pits. Jack is now in the pit lane. And I apologise if I was a little bit slow to react to that one, but Jack has gone into the pit lane, and the Red Bull mechanics make their work on the car, onto the hard compound tyre. Remember, he started on the softs, and he's going to go long. He's on the hards, pitting on lap 9. It's a bold strategy, but could pay off in the end. And now he's down the order. He's going to have to pass a couple of cars, but as the pit stop shuffle plays out, I think he can definitely come back up. But whilst we are in this stage, it is an AlphaTauri 1-2, as it was in qualifying. If you remember that. Now, as they make their way through, there's Mano down in P3, up to P3, I should say. So we see the AlphaTauris leading one another up through the two corners. As there's Hunt, P4 for Hunt. He started the race in P5, I believe. No, he started the sprint race in P5. I don't exactly know where he was started for this race, but he started the sprint in P5 and he's remained there in his qualifying position. And he's making his way down, and that's a spin! Who was that? Who was that? It's Smith! Smith spins out of the exit of Maggotts and Beckett's. For a moment, I wonder who that was, but Smith on the exit of Maggotts and Beckett spins the car and hits the inside wall. Thankfully, no major damage done. But just like the 2021 British Grand Prix, and Sergio Perez spinning out there, and there on the inside goes, oh, and there's contact. Boss spins, trying to overtake Fowler, and it's going to be passed now by Smithy, who hasn't got any damage at all, because he would have gone into the pit lane if it was. But as I was saying, just like real life, Red Bull spinning out on the exit of Maggotts and Beckett's. Crazy stuff here already in Silverstone. It's produced high drama here already as we make our way on to lap number 10 of the race. And there's a steward's warning that's been handed out to the driver, possibly for track limits, as we make our way around. There is Cade. Oh no, sorry, that's Sven. That's Sven in P6. Cade is down in P9. So two Mercedes have been split up since the start, and there's a yellow sector 1, and it's turn 3. Got a spinner, and I believe it was Corkum. Not having a good race, Corkum. He went from scoring points in Canada, which was a brilliant moment, and ST plays. Oh, sorry, KD has got a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. So that was, you can guarantee that was track violations there. But as I was saying, Corkum had a brilliant Canada. He was up in the points. He finished in the points, and now he's come to a treacherous Silverstone circuit where he has not been able to get up and have the success he had. But there is still a long way to go in this race, so things could still happen. Anything can happen in Formula One, especially when it comes to a chaotic race like Silverstone. As we see there is the Martin up in P2. No, that was Davis, sorry. In P1, and there's a yellow in sector 3, and it is Iron Law Gamer who has gone off at the final corner, and he swiftly comes into the pit lane, and Iron Law, 5-second penalty for spinning in the pit lane. I assume he's lost his front wing because he looked like he spun out on the exit of Stoke Corner. That was turn 15, and so Iron Law drops down the field once more for not once more, because he never mind. He comes back out into the race. That may as well have been his actual pit stop, because he's put on the hard compounder tyres. He must have changed tyres. Well, obviously changed tyres. And he comes back out into the race. He'll be down in last place, 17th. And yeah, so that's the story of Iron Law Gamers race, as High Caliber or Villoro drops down behind Jack. So Jack already passing cars to try and better his position, as there's Jack. He must have got him at Brooklyn's corner or on the inside of Luffield, because Jack already up the positions and already up to P13, no, P12, sorry. So he came out of the race in P14 and now he's up in P13. And Hunt gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's a 5-second penalty, so a lot of cars being caught out by the pit lane here, as Mano has also come in this lap. Mano is also in, Harwood is also in as well. So Mano's in, Hunt's in, and Harwood's in. And Hutton's come in as well as Smithy. So a lot of cars coming in this lap on lap 12. As we see the pit stop shuffle playing effect there. There is Harwood and the Alfa Romeo coming out into the race. Back out onto the pit lane, and there you can see in the background there's Hutton and Smithy in the background making their moves, and Jack will benefit greatly from this as Jack goes up to P7. So already his losses have been cut with as they all come out back into the race. And there are the final cars exiting the pit lane, Smithy and Hutton down the order of P16, but there are still cars that are still to pit, so that's why you may see an out-of-place car every now and then. As we see, there is Mano, who's leading the race, and we've got a spinner. No, we've got a slow car. That was Hunt, who was the slow car at turn 5, I think. Aintree corner. He was slow on the exit, so I wonder if he had a spin moment or a half spin. And then it sort of came down the order once more, as there is Zotic, the only McLaren in this race, and makes the way up as Martin comes into the pits. Martin's into the pits, and side by side, that's Corcume and Procan on the inside. No, it's Corcume was on the inside. What was going on there? It was wheel to wheel, but Martin's into the pits. But Corcume made the move, and it doesn't get better for Hutton in the stewards room. He's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, and into the pits has come Boss and Luigi, who has also come in at the moment, and Lotus or Fowler goes up to P2. So Fowler trying to emulate his Spa success in the form of P2. I know he wasn't in P2, but he was up there for a little bit until he wasn't. So at the moment, we've got cars all over the place during the pit stop shuffle, as we see Zotta coming in, and Corcume has also come into the pits. So Hutton will go up the order, even though he's got that penalty against him. And Cade was in the pit lane for a little bit, and he's just come out. He's come out in P13. He's ahead of Hutton, I should say. And there's Harwood closing up to the back of Cade, or Sven, sorry. And he goes to the outside into Brooklyn's corner. They're side by side on the entry and side by side or line astern through the exit. As Harwood is now ahead of Sven. And he now can chase after his teammate Valoro, who's ahead of him. And he's not made his move yet, as the leader is into the pits. The leader has come in. So Davis is in to the pit lane. It's a fast-moving world in Formula One, as we see. Is Fowler going to come in, or is he going to lead the race? I think Fowler is going to stay out. We're waiting for him to come around, and there's Boss, who is not coming in. So Boss on the alternate strategy, and Davis, where's he going to drop down to? How far is he going to drop down? Unsure at the moment. He drops down through P2. He'll drop down past Boss. He'll drop down past his teammate, maybe. If he drops down past his teammate, that's going to be decent on his own. But he is going to come out ahead of his teammate, because Martin is just coming onto the start-finish straight now. But it is going to be semi-close, as there you can see there was Martin just moving in the background, and Davis comes out into P3, so he's ahead of his teammate, which is good news for him, because he'll want to emulate his Spa and Canadian successes in the forms of 2 victories. And Corcume gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so I assume that would be track breaches. And Ironlaw gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings as well. So it doesn't get better for any of the drivers in the stewards room, many of them getting penalties, but they are learning, and they are learning fast here in this race as they make their way through onto lap 14 of 26. And there is the leader, Fowler. He is in the lead, but I suspect not for long, because he'll be overtaken by the 2 Alpha Tauris, which have looked unstoppable since the start. And I've only just realised that Martin is ahead of Jack throughout the pit stop circle. Martin is ahead of Jack, so that isn't going to do good for Jack because he would have wanted to be ahead of Martin. But Martin running in that gap, ahead of not running in the gap, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. But Boss into the pits, Fowler continues to stay out for another lap. So Fowler fancies his chances at gaining the gap again. So Boss will definitely drop down past the Firefly, oh, lump in my foot. It's past Davis and Martin and Jack. Will he drop down past Mano though? Yes, he will, and he's going to get passed now by Harwood and Luigi. And I don't know if he'll be passed by Hunt. Yeah, he will be passed by Hunt. And what about the Red Bull behind of Smithy? I have no idea. It'll be tight on exit though if it is going to be. There's Smithy. There's Boss. And Smithy is ahead of Boss. Only just though. And the two AlphaTauris are side by side of Martin and Firefly for the effective lead of the race. And Martin is ahead of his teammate. Remember last time out when they battled at Spa, it cost them very dearly. Well, Martin is ahead of Davis. He snuck upon him and he took the lead. And now, are they going to go wheel to wheel up towards Cops? You bet they are, because they're wheel to wheel on entry and they're side by side on the exit just about. And Corky possesses fastest lap in all this, but up towards Magnussen and Beckett. Martin holds off Davis for the lead. This is a fantastic battle, and you know it's going to be good when the two AlphaTauris are battling. But has that just cost them? Because Jack now is going to be roaring down onto the back of Davis now as they head down the hangar straight. DRS is active for Davis. He's a bit far back for the move, though. It'd be a bit brave of a lunge if it was going to be one. As now he goes up towards the Vale chicane and on to lap 17. They will be red and around. So it'll be 10 laps to go then when they cross the line. And there Fowler, who still hasn't pitted yet. He still hasn't pit yet. So he still leads the race. And he still is out there up in front at the moment. And what you watch there is Martin, the effective leader of the race, the net leader of the race, as he makes his way out and down towards the Wellington Straight. He will be, when Fowler pits, he will essentially be out there. But look at Davis, though. Davis clawing down on him, though. So Davis, Martin appearing faster in this brief part, but Davis looking a lot faster than him through this moment there. And Jack just sitting behind, saying, no, you two fight, and I'll just sit back here and pick up the scraps. In other words, P2 and P3, if they continue to fight too hard. And I'm sure the boss of AlphaTauri will be on the phone, and he'll be telling them to not fight too hard, but I think they'll be knowing that in their minds. There's a bit of real life noggin comes into the virtual world. They make their way out into the hangar straight again. And I don't think Firefly, he might pass Martin here, but here we go. He's gaining onto the back of Martin, but once again closes up towards braking zone, but not close enough to make the move. However, there are other braking zones on the circuit that are available, Vale being one of them, but that opportunity comes and goes very quickly indeed. You have to be very skilled to get the car stopped and moved, rotated through those corners to be passing another car, as Fowler doesn't pit again. So 10 laps to go now here in Silverstone. And we see 10 laps, maybe just enough for the AlphaTauris to secure a 1-2. As we can see there, Robert Boss sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:30. As the AlphaTauris, are they going to do battle down towards Brooklands? No, they're not. They get very, very close to one another, very, very close, and very, very tempting to see whether they've made their mark on each other yet. As they make their way up towards Copse Corner, it's Martin still just trying to tail ahead of the other drivers, and out in front, I can't help but notice Lotus or Fowler in the Ferrari, 16 lap hard tyres. How is he doing this? He's got to be coming in sometime. He's got to be coming in. No, he's not. He's not coming in. What is going on in the AlphaTauris are side by side? The AlphaTauris are wheel to wheel, and Davis gets ahead of Martin. Martin is ahead of Davis, and whilst I was talking about Fowler, Davis takes the opportunity to steal the show from Martin, and he's gone ahead. Well, he was waiting all the time, and he's gone straight ahead of Martin round the outside, just like he got past Jack, and fastest lap of the race, a 1:30.093 for James Davis in the AlphaTauri, the team from Italy, currently dominating here in the British Grand Prix. And there will be the dozens of supporters here in the stands for AlphaTauri. And the Italian fan base has a very popular upbringing now. As we look back towards the lead of the race, the two AlphaTauris still line astern through the sections of the track and out of Luffield and up the pit straight they go, and down towards Cops Corner, and this is Fowler, who is the tyre whisperer, I'd say, on Silverstone. But it'll be a bit more impressive if he goes a lot longer into the race. However, it's only lap 18. I'll start calling him the tyre whisperer and worshipping him if he's still on those tyres at the end of lap 24, which would be a crazy mark for him. But is he going to come in this lap? I wonder. And yes, he finally does come in. Fowler finally comes in as the AlphaTauris are side by side once more. Martin back ahead of Davis on the inside at Stowe Corner. We catch the tail end of the battle, but it's just that of the battle, the braking zone. They get him on the brake, so Fowler's finally come in. So Martin and Davis are now free, and Jack are now free, and the free air now. Not that they were in free air to begin with, but they are now in the fresh air, and they are now fighting for the 100% lead of the race. This is now the race win they are playing with. As Fowler, is he going to come out ahead of Mano? No, he's not. Mano goes up to P4. And he's not come out. He's going to come out behind Hutton, and he's going to... No, not Hutton. He's going to come out behind Hunt, that is. And he's ahead of Smithy. And there is the two AlphaTauris. Once again, going side, front to back through up towards... I'm losing my words here. Let's have a pause here. We've had a bit of a crazy sprint race and an even crazier main event. So as we watch now, Martin and Davis making their way up towards Maggott and Beckett's. Will they go side by side through Stowe one more time? And Jack still in the background now as we have a yellow in sector 2, and that is one of the Alpines who has spun it on the exit of Luffield. As here goes Davis on the outside of Martin. He's side by side through the mid corner. They're side by side on exit of the corner, and now down towards Vale. Martin concedes the position to Firefly, and Firefly in the lead, but Martin's back on the inside. It's wheel to wheel. Firefly comes back out on the outside, and it's very, very close. They make their way into the final corner. They're side by side down the pit straight into Abbey now, and then who is going to be come out on top in this battle? It's Martin who gets ahead on the inside through Abbey corner, and now Davis on the outside. Jack has closed up even more now to Martin as he makes his way through to the leading pair as they now make their way through. Surely we're going to see some more of that fantastic action as they head down the Wellington Straight now. Are we going to see any passes down here? DRS is active for one of them, but not the other one, as he makes a break in the slipstream there. Martin makes a break, but Davis sticks to his line and comes around. Next corner, we got yellow in sector 1. That's the Haas, or someone having a moment. As we see that. That is Fowler. New pack in Luffield now, heading through and out down towards the old pit straight. And once again, we see them come back towards the number 1 overtaking spot on the circuit, Stowe Corner. The leaders down through Beckett's, out of Chapel, and now down the Hanger Straight. DRS active for Firefly. Can he get ahead of Martin? Can he emulate his last lap success? No, he can't. He's dropped back. So Martin getting ahead here, but only just, because Davis can't make the move, but he does close up very tightly to him. And Martin a little bit offline there as we ride on board with the AlphaTauri driver. And back to the outside shot of the two cars, and overtake active down the main straight as they make their way through Abbey, and now down towards Farm. Into Village they go. 4th gear, down to 3rd now. Going to be up through 3rd gear as Fowler sets fast lap of the race. 29.904. So the first driver put into the 129s throughout the race. And once again, Davis looking a little bit far back, and there is Boss in the pit lane. And yellow in sector 1, and once again, that's the pass of someone having a little moment. And I think that may be Harwood, do you think? Running through the loop, having a little bit of a moment. Maybe getting a bit of a sideways moment. As we calm down here on lap 21 of the British Grand Prix, it will be soon. 5 laps to go. Soon enough. And this race will be in the books, and one of the best races, in my opinion. One of the best races I've commentated on, even though I've commentated on 3 so far. As back to the lead of the race, Davis closing up onto the back of Martin. Is he going to try for the move? No, he's not. He's going to stick to the back of Martin. He's going to pride his time behind, and he's going to find his moment. And then he'll strike through, and hopefully Martin doesn't have an answer. Davis currently trailing behind Martin. And at the moment, it is line astern for the top 3. And Mano, 11 seconds down the road. He's under pressure from Luigi Sven. He's got a bit of a gap to cushion himself. Nothing to threat, Mano. It's just nothing at the moment. But as the leading pair make their way out of the loop and down the straight of Wellington, Davis closing up, closing to the back. Once more, the AlphaTauris close up towards Brooklands, but it turns into nothing really. They just sort of close up, break, and then they turn, and then they sort of pull away, and then Martin pulls away on the straight. Davis being tugged along in the slipstream, essentially, as they make their way up towards Copse Corner. Martin and Davis, the AlphaTauri Dream Team, just going up towards the last couple of corners that there are to negotiate on the circuit. And there are a couple more after that, though. I shouldn't start speaking too soon. And their overtake is active for Martin. And he makes his way down the back straight. Closing up onto the back of Martin, but nothing yet, though. Nothing yet. He's biding his time. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's being patient behind Martin. And Jack just being even more patient behind as we ride on board with the last place car, Corkium. And there's Davis back to the lead of the race. Davis. And just following behind Martin and Jack. Behind both of them. Just keeping suit in the Red Bull. The Scotsman just trying to negotiate his way up to maybe a win, perhaps, because it's on the cards today. It can happen. Given that the AlphaTauris battle, Jack could try and make his way through here, but I don't think it would happen as of yet, as they make their way down towards Brooklands and Luffield sequence of corners. In the long Luffield corner, they'll see the fans right there waving them on. For the lead of the race, they'll be eager to see some side-by-side action, as that's Iron Law into the pits. And you can assume this would be for maybe a fastest lap of the race, perhaps. Because you don't usually see pit stops this late in the race unless you're the Alex Albon tyre whisperer at Australia. And Jack has just received a 5-second time penalty for multiple warnings. No, 3-second time penalty, sorry. 3 seconds. Not that it matters though, because he is 12th place. Although, that does matter if he gets up to second or not. But here come the two AlphaTauris once more. Are they going to do battle up towards Stoke Corner? It's very, very close between the two. Firefly or Davis almost pushing Martin through that sequence of corners now as they make their way down through the chicane of Vale. And Corkium also enters the pit lane as well. And you just start to wonder. There's a bit of a gap now that's formed. There's now 3 laps to go here at Silverstone. And we see as Martin. No, and that's Fowler, sorry. That's Fowler. Looking at my other screen there. Fowler chasing down Harwood for P6 there, that is. For P6. So Fowler in P7, and he's chasing down Harwood for P6. Sven's just ahead in P5. Mano is in P4. And ahead is the top 3 of Jack and the two AlphaTauris of Martin and Davis. As we look back to the lead of the race, Davis closes up on exit of Luffield, and it's always interesting as a Formula 1 viewer to watch these races as they close up towards one another, see where the cars are gaining time, see where the cars are losing time. And that's always what keeps us hooked, is the thrilling octane racing that we're promised with every lap of the race. However, at the moment, not really anyone going side by side at the moment. And Silverstone plays up drama, and it has played up drama today. But here comes Davis on the AlphaTauri of Martin, the two teammates up towards Stowe once more. He had the DRS open, he had the overtake active. Thought for one moment he was going to go through, but Fowler's got a penalty. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as of most of the other drivers, so you can assume that means track limits. As we go back over the main straight. 2 laps to go here, 2 laps to go in Silverstone, and the opportunities are running out for Davis now, as Jack has checked out from the top 3 as he's dropped back. I think he's realised he can't win the race now with the 3-second time penalty, because he'd have to do bits. So he's just going to sit behind and bide his time and just play it cool and get to the flag and just nurse it home. Not that there is any nursing to do. Nurse his tyres home, I meant. But Cade getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so you can assume he's going for fastest lap. So he's in, and let's see what he can do on the final lap of the race as we come up towards the lead of the race. That's Davis and Martin up towards Copse Corner. Davis's opportunities have run out, I think, for him, and Martin has proved he is the more superior, unless Davis has an answer as we head through with 1 lap to go in this race. They know it. They know that they've only got one more chance to make it work. And Vesty plays look down behind Veloro, Zotic and Procam. As here goes Davis on the outside. As I say, he's run out of opportunities. He hasn't, because he's gone through into the lead of the race. And Firefly passes through. Davis passes through, and Iron Lord Gamer does set the fastest lap of the race at 1:29.1. But now KD is chasing him down for that fastest lap trophy award. As yellow flag, sector 2 and 3, we've got a spinner on the exit of Magnussen Beckett, and it's Hutton. Hutton's dropped down past Smithy. And, well, hey, Chaotic Race has 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Mode Push. And I've failed to mention the sponsors. I do apologise. It has been a rather hectic one, and it's been a lot to keep up with. But you've seen them. They're there. They've been in the corner. As here comes Martin back on the outside. Into Brooklyn's corner. He's going to go right around the outside. Davis is going to hold him to the inside. And Davis fails to make it through on Martin. And is that the winning move of the race for Martin? No, it isn't, because Firefly's coming back at him. Firefly comes back at Martin down the pit straight. It's nothing separating them up towards Copse Corner. They're going to have to be brave to go side by side through Copse Corner. They're going to go wheel to wheel, though. And Martin still trying to get ahead of Firefly, but Firefly is back into the lead of the race, into Magnussen Beckett. Davis is in the lead. Martin is chasing him down, though, in P2. He's not going to let this win just slip away. It's the closest he's got to winning, and he's not going to let it just slide away like that. DRS active. Overtake is on. Here he goes. He's going to go to the inside into Stowe Corner, and he's going to go through into the end of the race on the brakes. Does Firefly have an answer in the final corners of the race? He's going to try it, you know. He's going to come on the outside. Into Vale he goes. He's outbraked himself. Almost just goes off the track and manages to come out ahead. But Martin is wheel to wheel, and it's side by side to the final corner. But Martin gets here, the win, just ahead of Firefly, and that has got to be one of the most chaotic finishes I've seen to a race in a long time. But congratulations, Martin, you've finally done it, and you are a race winner in F1WL. Wow, what a final lap. Jack comes home in P3, Mano P4, Luigi P5, Sir P6, or Harwood P6, Fowler P7, Hunt P8, Smith P9, Hutton will come home P10, and that is the final points decision decided, as another 3-second penalty for Hutton as it rounds out the top 10. But that was a fantastic battle to finish the race here. Silverstone often gives up drama, and it's not over yet with battles to the line. As we can see there, that's Procan and Zotic will be wheel to wheel their ghosted cars through the Vale chicane. It's for a non-points position, but P11's P11 at the end of the day. As he comes across the line, it's Procan ahead of Zotic. Boss getting Veloro as well on the line as well. And KD does set the fastest lap, to the disappointment of the Aston Martin crew of Iron Lord Gamer and Corcume P17 will finish off the race as we're just waiting for Iron Law Gamer to come around the final corner. Iron Law Gamer P17, commiserations, but congratulations to Martin. He is a race winner after so many pole positions. It was only bound before he gets his first win of the season, and he's done it here at the magnificent and historic Silverstone circuit. So with Bass as your driver of the day. However, that is only decided by the game. The Discord will decide their ultimate fate of driver of the day. But congratulations to Martin and Davis. So AlphaTauri 1-2, and Jack rounds it off in P3. As we see there, there is Martin coming out. He's finally a winner, and he can properly celebrate this one. There's no one to stop him now because he is back on top. He's got a little bit of proving to do if he needs to get ahead of Davis with the 2-win lead in AlphaTauri. As you see there, there is the AlphaTauri crew looking very happy indeed, and this bubbly stuff is sprayed for Martin and AlphaTauri because they are race winners and they have got a 1-2 here at Silverstone. And Jack P3, a great drive from Jack. However, that 3-second time penalty just costing him in the end, because I think he could have been a fantastic player at the end of that one if he didn't have the time penalty. He would have challenged on that last lap. It could have been a three-way fight for the lead in the last lap. But there's the official results. It is Martin ahead of Firefly. Then comes Jack, Mano, Luigi, Sir, Lotus, PCS, Smithy, and McDum, P10. Procan, P11, just misses out on the points. Zotic, Mike's Pad, Kai Caliber, ST Plays, Ironlaw Gamer, and Core Q Malice is the final car to finish the race. He was a lap down in the end. However, that was a fantastic Silverstone race and a fantastic round 4 here. Join us next time when F1WL will return to your screens, this time next week. Thank you very much.